Alright, Reddit. I'm kind of freaking out and need some outside perspective because my brain is doing the dial-up modem sound. So, 18 nem, just graduated high school. Typical awkward phase. More comfortable with a controller in my hand than actual human interaction with girls. My dating experience is basically nil, like a zero. I went to prom with a group of friends, and my romantic highlight was accidentally spilling punch on a girl's dress and then apologizing for a solid 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm that guy. My dad remarried about 5 years ago to Sarah, 40s F. She's cool, mostly, energetic, always has some new hobby, loves to cook, which is a major plus. We get along okay though, sometimes she tries a bit too hard to be the cool stepmom. Lately, her new project has been me. Specifically, my non-existent love life. It started subtly. Jake, honey, you should get out more. Meet people. Then it escalated to, confidence is attractive, Jake. Stand up straight. Make eye contact. Okay, fair enough, probably good advice. But then about a month ago, she sat me down for what she called Dating Bootcamp 101. I kid you not. She had a mental PowerPoint presentation ready. First, she said, beaming, you gotta know how to talk to them. Ask questions. Listen, don't just talk about your video games. Unless she's also into them, then maybe a little. I'm sitting there nodding like a bobblehead, feeling my soul slowly leave my body. And compliments, Jake. Genuine compliments. Not just you look hot. Something like, that color really brings out your eyes. Or, I love your laugh. She demonstrated with an exaggerated wink. I think I cringed so hard my spine compressed. This went on for a few sessions. How to dress, apparently my collection of band tees and hoodies isn't first date material. How to offer to pay, but also be cool if she wants to split. Even how to do a charming, non-creepy goodbye. It was a lot. I appreciated the effort, kinda, but it was also mortifying. My dad just chuckled and said, she means well, son. Thanks, Dad, super helpful. Then came the curveball. Last week during one of our boot camp sessions, which now involved her critiquing my posture while I pretended to ask an imaginary girl out, she got this gleam in her eye. The kind of gleam that usually precedes her announcing we're all doing a fun family hike at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. Jake, she began, tapping her chin. I was talking to my friend Carol the other day. Oh no, I knew where this was going. And her daughter, Chloe. She's such a sweetheart. And so smart. She just finished her master's, I think. Or maybe she's starting it. Anyway, she's back in town for a bit. My internal alarm bells were deafening. Uh-huh, I managed, trying to look casual, like I was deeply contemplating the geopolitical implications of her statement. Well, Sarah continued, oblivious to my rising panic. I was thinking, you two might actually really hit it off. I think I choked on my own spit. Chloe? Isn't she, older? Oh, a few years, honey. What's that between friends? She chirped. She's let me think. Probably 23, maybe 24. Mature, knows what she wants. And she's gorgeous, Jake. Here, I have a picture. Before I could protest, she was scrolling through her phone, then shoved it in my face. And okay, fine, Chloe was pretty. Like objectively out of my league, pretty. Kind of an artsy vibe, smiling, looked genuinely happy in the photo, which made it worse. This wasn't some abstract concept. This was a real accomplished, attractive older woman. See? Sarah said, beaming. She's lovely. And Carol says she's been so focused on her studies, she hasn't had much time for dating either. You two have that in common. Yeah, except she's probably been focused on, quantum physics, and I've been focused on getting a legendary drop in Diablo. Since then, it's been Chloe this, Chloe that. Oh, Chloe loves that band you like, Jake? I highly doubt Chloe MA is bumping the same obscure indie rock I am. I told Carol you're so good with computers. Maybe Chloe needs help setting up her new laptop when she visits. Smooth, Sarah. Real smooth. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone to go to the movies with, Jake? Chloe loves indie films. It's like she's trying to manifest this relationship into existence through sheer willpower. Part of me is, I don't know, a tiny bit flattered? Like she thinks this amazing older girl would even look twice at me? But most of me is just a cocktail of anxiety, embarrassment, and a weird sense of being a pawn in some stepmom friend matchmaking scheme. I haven't even met Chloe. For all I know, she has no idea her mom and my stepmom are playing puppet masters with our love lives. Or worse, maybe she does know and thinks it's hilarious. Or pities me. My biggest fear is Sarah engineering some accidental meeting. Like, oh, Jake, Carol and Chloe are just popping by to borrow a cup of sugar. What a coincidence. I can already feel the flop sweat. So, Reddit, am I just being a typical socially awkward 18-year-old who needs to get over himself? Is this normal stepmom behavior, just trying to help her clueless stepson? Or is this super weird and over the top? And what the hell do I do if she actually tries to set up a meeting? Do I play along, feign sudden illness, move to another country? TLDR, my well-meaning but intense stepmom is giving me dating lessons and has decided her friend's older 20s F daughter is my perfect match. She's pushing it hard and I 18M zero dating experience, am a ball of anxiety. Is this normal or weird? Help. Update 1 about 1 week later. Well, it happened. And it was something. Okay, wow. First off, thanks for all the comments on my original post. Seriously, it was a mix of dude run, your stepmom is nuts, and hey, free dating advice, don't knock it till you try it. Some of you even said an older girl might be good for me. Yikes. So, I spent the last week basically living in a state of low-grade dread, jumping every time the doorbell rang, convinced it was the Chloe encounter. Sarah, my stepmom, was still dropping hints like they were breadcrumbs leading to my romantic doom destiny. Depending on your perspective, she'd casually mention things like, oh, Chloe is volunteering at the animal shelter this weekend. Isn't that sweet? Or Carol said Chloe's looking for a good coffee shop recommendation. My dad just kept patting me on the back, saying, your stepmom has a good heart, Jake. Yeah, a heart set on my public humiliation. Then, Saturday happened. I was in my room, headphones on, deep into a new game, probably looking like a goblin who hadn't seen sunlight in days. Sarah knocks, then pokes her head in, way too cheerfully. Jake, honey. Carol just popped over, and guess who's with her? My blood ran cold. This was it. The ambush. They're just in the kitchen. I was making lemonade. Come say hi. I wanted to say, actually, I think I'm spontaneously combusting, so I'll pass, but I knew it was futile. She'd drag me out by my ear if she had to. I took a deep breath, ran a hand through my disastrous hair, and told myself, okay, Jake, be cool. She's just a person. A highly educated, beautiful, older person who probably thinks you're a child. No pressure. I walked into the kitchen, trying to project an aura of I totally wasn't just slaying virtual dragons 5 seconds ago. And there she was, Chloe. And damn, Reddit, the pictures didn't do her justice. She was taller than I expected, wearing like simple jeans and a t-shirt, but she just looked put together, effortlessly cool. She had a friendly smile though, not a pitying one, just nice. Her mom Carol is super bubbly, just like Sarah. They were already mid-sentence, laughing about something. Sarah practically shoved me forward. Chloe, Carol, this is my stepson, Jake. Jake, you remember Carol, and this is her wonderful daughter, Chloe. Chloe turned, and her eyes, which, okay, Sarah was right, that color did bring them out. They were a really interesting hazel. Met mine. Hey, Jake, she said, her voice calm and, I don't know, warm. Nice to finally meet you. Your stepmom talks about you a lot. My brain short-circuited. She talks about me? What does she say? Does Chloe know about the boot camp? I managed a pathetic, hey, you too. I mean, nice to meet you. Sarah talks about you too. All good things. Obviously. Smooth, Jake. Real smooth. I could feel my face heating up. Sarah beamed. Jake's just finished school. He's going to be studying computer science in the fall. Oh, cool, Chloe said, genuinely sounding interested. That's awesome. What got you into that? And just like that, we were talking. Or rather, she was asking questions, and I was stammering out answers. It wasn't as horrifying as I'd imagined. She asked about my favorite games, and actually knew one of them, what I liked about coding. She didn't make me feel like an idiot kid. She just listened. The whole interaction probably lasted 10 minutes. Sarah and Carol were kind of hovering, occasionally interjecting with, oh, Jake is so good at that, or Chloe is so passionate about this, which was a bit much, but Chloe just handled it with a polite smile. When they were leaving, Chloe said, it was really nice meeting you, Jake. Maybe I'll see you around. Yeah, I said, trying for casual. You too. After they left, Sarah was practically vibrating with excitement. See? That wasn't so bad, was it? She's lovely, and I think she liked you. I just shrugged, trying to play it cool. But honestly, my heart was still hammering. She wasn't scary. She was actually pretty chill. And yeah, she's older, but it didn't feel like a massive gulf when we were talking. It just felt like talking to a cool person. So now I'm even more confused. The setup was still cringy as hell, and I'm sure our moms are already planning the wedding. But Chloe herself, she was nice. Like genuinely nice. And smart. And yeah, okay, really pretty. I caught myself thinking, what if Sarah is right? And then I immediately wanted to slap myself. So, Reddit, what now? Was this just politeness on Chloe's part? Is she just being nice because our moms are friends? Am I reading too much into a 10-minute conversation, fueled by maternal meddling? The age gap still feels weird to me, even if it didn't seem to bother her, or she was just good at hiding it. Part of me wants to just forget the whole thing and chalk it up to an awkward anecdote. Another smaller, much stupider part of me is wondering, should I actually try to talk to her again? Without our moms as a buffer? This is a whole new level of complicated. My brain hurts. TLDR Update 1. Stepmom ambushed me with Chloe. It was awkward, but Chloe was surprisingly cool and easy to talk to. Now I'm confused because she wasn't the intimidating ice queen I imagined, and a tiny part of me is wondering if my stepmom's crazy plan isn't totally insane. What do I do with these conflicting emotions? Update 2 about 2 weeks later. You won't believe this. Or maybe you will. Send help and coffee. Okay, Reddit, this whole saga has taken some turns I absolutely did not see coming. Strap in, because it's been a whirlwind. After the ambush, as I've come to call it, I was a mess of confusion. Your comments on Update 1 were again a wild ride. Everything from dude, she's just being polite, don't be a creep, to go for it, what have you gotta lose? And a surprising number of my partner is X years older, younger. It's NBD if you click. Thanks for that, by the way. It did make me feel a little less like a total weirdo for even considering it. Sarah, my stepmom, was of course in full I told you so mode. She'd casually drop Chloe's name into every other sentence. Oh, Chloe mentioned she loves that little cafe downtown, Jake. You should check it out, or Carol said Chloe's looking for recommendations for good hiking trails nearby. It was like she was trying to subtly nudge me into accidentally bumping into her again. Part of me was annoyed, but another traitorous part of me was actually listening. The thing is, Chloe's brief appearance had kind of demystified her. She wasn't this unattainable goddess, she was just a person. A cool, smart, pretty person. Sure, but still a person. And I couldn't shake that brief, easy conversation we'd had in the kitchen. So last week, armed with a ridiculous amount of Dutch courage, okay, it was more like lukewarm courage, and 2 cups of coffee, I did something incredibly out of character. Sarah had mentioned, for the 10th time, that Chloe was trying to find a quiet place with good Wi-Fi to get some work done, as her home internet was being flaky. She also casually mentioned that Chloe had asked her if she knew any good spots. Ding ding ding, my stepmom, the not-so-subtle puppet master. Normally, I'd roll my eyes and retreat to my goblin cave. But this time, I actually knew a place. A small indie library branch near us has these little study carls, and surprisingly good Wi-Fi, and it's always dead quiet. So, I texted Sarah, I know, involving the instigator, but I didn't have Chloe's number. Hey, tell Chloe to try the Elm Street library branch. It's usually empty and the Wi-Fi is decent. I hit send before I could chicken out. About an hour later, Sarah texted back. She says thanks. Such a good idea, Jake. The winky face emoji felt ominous. The next day, I had to return some books to that exact library. Pure coincidence, I swear. Okay, maybe 80% coincidence, 20% morbid curiosity. I walked in, dropped off my books, and as I was leaving, I glanced towards the study area. And there she was, Chloe, headphones on, typing away on her laptop, looking focused. My heart did a weird little flip. I almost bolted, but then I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was all of Sarah's confidence lectures finally seeping in. I walked over. She looked up as I approached, a little surprised, then smiled. Oh hey Jake, thanks for the recommendation, this place is perfect. No problem, I said, trying to sound way cooler than I felt. Glad it worked out. We chatted for a minute. She was working on some research proposal. It sounded incredibly complicated and impressive. I told her I was just procrastinating on some pre-course reading for college. Then she did something unexpected. Hey, I'm about to take a coffee break. There's a little cafe next door. Wanna join? My treat. for the library tip. Reddit, I think my brain blue screened. Me? Coffee? With Chloe? Yeah, sure. I managed, hopefully sounding like a normal human being. Sounds good. So we went for coffee, and we talked, for like an hour, about everything and nothing. College, her master's program, turns out it's in urban planning, which is actually fascinating. Music, movies, even my dumb video games, she asked about them. She has this way of making you feel like what you're saying is genuinely interesting. The age difference kind of just faded into the background. It was just nice, easy. Towards the end, she kind of laughed and said, "You know, our moms are quite the pair, aren't they?" I snorted. "You have no idea. My stepmom has been running Jake's dating boot camp for weeks." Chloe raised an eyebrow, a smile playing on her lips. "Oh, I have some idea. My mom's been dropping hints about Sarah's wonderful smart stepson for a while now. I figured they were cooking something up when she insisted I come over that day for lemonade." We both kind of laughed. It was a relief actually to know she was in on the joke, so to speak, and wasn't weirded out by it, or at least not terminally weirded out. She admitted she was a little hesitant at first because of the age thing and the whole setup, but she'd been curious to meet the legendary Jake. When we were leaving, she said, "Well, this was fun. Definitely better than wrestling with that research paper. We should do it again sometime if you want. Maybe without the parental pressure next time." I think I just grinned like an idiot. "Yeah, I'd like that." We exchanged numbers. Actual digits. So, yeah, we've texted a bit since then. Made tentative plans to check out that indie movie theater Sarah and now Chloe mentioned. It's weird. Good weird, I think. Terrifying weird, definitely. My stepmom is, of course, ecstatic. She's trying to play it cool, but I can see the smug triumph in her eyes. See, Jake? Sometimes a little nudge is all you need. I'm still not entirely convinced her methods weren't certifiably insane, but I can't argue with the results so far. I have no idea where this is going. Maybe it'll just be a cool friendship. Maybe it'll be a few casual dates. Maybe, and this is the part that makes my stomach do acrobatics, it could be something more. The age difference is still there, obviously, and I'm still a clueless 18-year-old in many ways, and she's an accomplished woman in her mid-20s. But she doesn't seem to mind, and when we're talking, it just works. So thanks, Reddit, for being a sounding board for my neuroses. And I guess, thanks, stepmom. You're still a meddling weirdo, but maybe, just maybe, you knew something I didn't. Wish me luck. I think I'm gonna need it. TLDR update 2. Took a chance, suggested a study spot to Chloe. Ended up having coffee with her. Turns out our moms were totally scheming together. Chloe was cool about it. We exchanged numbers and might go on an actual intentional date. My brain is still trying to process all of this. Stepmom is insufferable, but possibly a genius. What is my life?